Hey YouTube. So Chelsea talked about what Born This Way means to her, and Robbie talked about what it means to him. And I never really talked about what it means to me, so that's what I'm going to talk about. And let me give you a little bit of a background about me. Um, I'm half black, half Puerto Rican. I've always been considered weird, quirky, not normal, a little off, and I've always been the honors class or the smart kids or, above average in intelligence. And I get made up for being fat, but I don't think I'm fat. So I guess I'll touch on like body image and stuff like that. Ever since I was little, I've always been considered weird, a little off, not normal. So I always hung out with all the other, I guess you could say, loners. We were an odd bunch of kids, and I think it was good that I had other friends who felt just as weird as I did, because had I not found those friends, I think I would have been made fun of a lot more. Um, there was probably like maybe 5 or 6 of us that were consistently in our little group of friends who were sort of like the outcasts in my elementary school. We were all smart and weird, so that was something we all shared in common, and it was healthy to a certain extent, but we were all still made fun of and isolated, which wasn't really fun at all. It kind of really sucked because whenever there was like birthday parties and you have to invite the whole class, sometimes we weren't invited. Throughout middle school, that's when they started honors classes. So I was with the same 20 some odd kids throughout the whole day, which was even more isolation, I guess you could say. And there was good and bad to that because we were all really, really different from each other. I mean, we had all the different races, boys and girls, and likes, dislikes, everything. We were a big modge podge of people. But it was still us 20 people who were always together, and then like I guess I could say the isolation and the being kept away from everyone else was healthy in the fact that I don't get teased by other people, but also they made fun of all of us, and that sucked too. For like being smart and everything, a lot of the times people didn't want to associate with us. They didn't want to talk to us. They didn't want to hang out with us. Same thing with the birthday parties. You invite everyone. Not invited. You're too smart. Don't come to my party. No. But I got teased for that a lot too. And that carried on throughout high school. Being sort of isolated. But let's see what else. And throughout, mainly in middle school, is when I started to become myself. Like I was saying, I'm half black, half Puerto Rican, and being half black, a lot of times, like some of my cousins and my family, sometimes were like, "Oh, you act too white. You don't. You need to appreciate your heritage more." And I'm just like, how does me acting white affect my love for my culture? I never got that, and I think that's kind of what hurts the most. Being told I should act a certain way and like certain things, and be a certain way because I'm half black and half Puerto Rican or whatever. And I think it's really limiting to say that black people should only like rap, or that they can only wear this stuff, or that they can only have an IQ of this, like, up to here, and they can't have an IQ that skyrockets. Hey, Moosey. So yeah, that really hurt. And throughout high school, I started noticing that more and more. Throughout the hallways and stuff. I mean, a lot of my friends were white. And whenever we walked by the cafeteria, and there was that group, like, our school is mainly, like, it was evenly split between, like, race-wise, nationality-wise. And anytime, like, a group of black people or group of ghetto people or whatever, every time I walked by them, I was always looked down upon, like, oh, you shouldn't be hanging out with them. Or like, I don't know, it was just, I always got a really negative vibe from them, just because of how I acted and who I was with and stuff like that, and that was pretty hurtful. I guess I was really lucky to have the friends that I did, and to be in an organization where it didn't matter who you were, or what your skills were, or how smart you were, or whatever, because I was in band, and they had their arms, like, so wide open, and they would embrace and accept everybody. It was so great, and it was the best thing about my high school, was that I was in such a loving community of people that I didn't really care what the other people thought, that, oh, she's black, but she's trying to be white by hanging out with all these white kids. I didn't really care, because I had friends, and I felt a part of something, and that was I'm really thankful for that. I also wanted to talk about how people look down on me for being black and for being female, and I noticed this a lot at work, especially now that I have an afro. Like, since I work in a copy center, it's a job where you expect someone really smart, and I get a lot of the time people who are surprised with my knowledge of my job. They don't expect it from me, and I feel like I have to prove it to them that I know what I'm doing. Otherwise, the customer feels like that they know how to run this better than I can, and I shouldn't have to prove myself, but I do. I have to prove myself to these people, otherwise they won't appreciate what I do. They won't respect me for being me, and it's pretty degrading. But yeah, I mean, I don't like it when people make so many assumptions like that, like I should be this way, or I should act this way, or make the assumption that I'm stupid, or that I'm like a ditz because of how I look, or something, or how I talk, or whatever. I hate when people tell me how I should be because of my nationalities. I'm unique. That's just who I am, and people need to deal with it. And I was born this way, so that's pretty much what born this way means to me. I needed to remind you guys that for our video for the class, we decided to do text, and we want pictures of all of you guys, and I'm pretty sure Roberto is making a video about this, so I will either link it here, but I'm going to explain it here too. Ooh, excuse me. Ooh. But basically what we want to do is, here's the link to the questions that we have for you guys. It's on Tumblr. if you guys need to, like, you know, read it, whatever. We basically want you guys to answer those questions, and we're going to show pictures of you guys on a projector and use the pictures and text. We figured it'd be a lot easier to gather information from you guys if you guys don't feel like talking to a camera, because it can be kind of tricky, especially if you don't know what you want to say. So, thanks. Love you.